Hi, everybody. Welcome to my podcast called Internetology. First off, I appreciate you, whoever is tuning in, and I'm looking forward to starting this project and for a great semester. So, something a little bit about me is that my name is Catherine Zimmerman, um, and I'm a junior at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I am studying psychology and sociology, um, and I am quite a nerd when it comes to those things. I feel like I just, I don't know, I really enjoy those things. So, besides that, I am currently enrolled in a psychology course called the Psychological Effects of the Internet, and I would like to go over a little bit of what the course is and also the project that I'm currently working on through this podcast, but also for the course. And so, um, if I will go over the course syllabus, or at least a few things on the course syllabus to explain what this course is about and what I am going to be learning throughout the semester, but also later on explain information that I will be sharing through this podcast for this course term project. Um, so, a little bit about the course is that we will be learning about the psychological effects of the internet. No. Um, we are going to do a deep dive into various aspects of how the internet and psychology intertwine, which is something I'm really interested personally in because I think the internet is very prevalent in our day to day lives, but also I think it's really cool. And technologies have been existed for many, many years, but the internet has a wide grasp on our day to day lives, and so that's why I took this course. I thought it'd be really interesting. Um, I tend to go on lots of side tangents, so I apologize. But I think that might be interesting to go on that tangent with me, hopefully. Um, So here are a few of the things that we'll be learning throughout the semester. And I think it's very engaging that we'll be going over not only the psychology on the individual level, but also um, psychology on the social level and how that also intertwines with society and culture and things like that, which is something that I'm also interested in as a sociology major. Um, but I really enjoy the setup of this course because it follows a asynchronous format, and to be honest, I am quite nervous about the asynchronous idea, but um, I'm looking forward to it. COVID-19 definitely was a challenge, but we'll see how that goes. And I'm really excited to connect with my professor, Dr. Gernsbacher, and also my TAs have been very helpful thus far. Anyways, I'll get into what the course is about. um, so over the course, we'll be deep diving. We'll be looking over certain aspects of the internet and how they impact different areas of psychology. So that's far on our learning venture. We have been welcomed to the internet by Dr. Gernsbacher, which is very much appreciated. And we just finished up learning about like how learning occurs via the internet, and like we'll be going over some more uh, topics within psychology and how they relate to the internet throughout all of these lovely units. I'm personally really excited for a lot of them, specifically clinical psychology, because that's something I really enjoy. Um, Alas, uh, we here's our lovely teaching staff, and the syllabus kind of goes over how much time we'll be spending on the course and what uh, basic main ideas are we're going to be learning. Um, so that'll be. I'm looking forward to that, and I've learned a decent amount thus far. Um, and I guess this is like a layout of how this course works thus far too. Um, and here is the timeline for each unit. And so, yeah, I guess how I would summarize the course is we are examining different areas of psychology and how the internet relates to them. And I don't know. I guess that's kind of about it. That's all I can really say at this point. um, but I'm looking forward to deep diving into the main idea for my term project, um, which is how the internet is changing the way we learn. And so um, I really wanted to investigate this question, um, as I will refer now to the term project instructions. And so I'm doing the deep dive option, and we are given a prompt of all these questions, um, which question that we would like to further investigate. And I chose how is the internet changing the way that we learn? Um, and I I'm really interested in this question. I'm interested in a lot of the questions because they're really cool. But um, I was really interested in this question because I think this is a very broad topic that I will be able to find smaller dimensions of where I can um, find information about like learning, because learning in itself has like such a broad definition, I believe, from my perspective. And I think that learning can occur formally, informally, and the internet kind of, I think, has also an impact on how we perceive information and how we interpret information, how we engage with information. Um, and I think there are pros and cons to the internet, and receiving and learning from the internet, more so in the regards of um, misinformation being spread, um, and like more informal uh, learning platforms, I guess, or social media platforms. And that's a topic I would like to discuss, which I'm really excited to in a future. I also apologize for all the notifications. I guess a little bit more about me is that I run a student org. Actually, well, I am president of one student org, and then I'm also on the leadership team for another. Um, and so I have lots of people always asking me help, and also my email. I get tons of emails because the school email gets lots of emails. Anyways, um, so I was really interested in diving into how the internet changes how we learn. And this is just a brief overview of the deep dive option, and what I will be doing throughout these podcasts is connecting the course content that we learn throughout the semester to my deep dive question, and also utilizing other information on the internet, and talking about how those two things go into play, how they interact with each other. And also, though, too, hence why we have to deep dive into this information. Um, I'm looking I'm looking at how not only do, like, for example, the educational format and how online courses that people can access, how that impacts learning in itself. How does social media influence learning through, as I was talking about earlier, misinformation or just the ease of sharing information? Um, Many different topics, and I am looking forward to that. Um, and I also here I type up a little script of what I would like to discuss during a podcast. So I have trouble sometimes getting my thoughts straight, if you couldn't tell. Um, and so I hope that this can not only be helpful to me, but also to you as a viewer. And I wanted to have like a visual aspects to this so that you would be able to see what I'm seeing and kind of engage with what I'm engaging, from a visual standpoint, but also, um, kind of start, or at least start, or try to start a discussion about the material that I decide to go over in this podcast. Um, so I another reason why I picked, the topic of how the internet is changing the way we learn is because, it is a very broad topic, and I think it relates to many different areas, not only in psychology, which is kind of what this course is about, but also like society and culture, education specifically, also more importantly, and technology as a whole, I guess. I thought that was I thought this would be a really interesting and fun question to investigate. I am a naturally curious person, I think, and I love to learn stuff. Which I also tend to make self-deprecating humor. So if you're not a fan of that, I apologize. I try my best not to, but who knows? Besides the point. I also thought this, topic is more relevant to many different areas, of the population, because we are all, I think humans are biologically designed to learn. I think our brains are capable of so much, and that includes learning. And a lot of our development is or surrounds itself through learning, by learning. Um, we spend many years of our lives, or our developmental years of our lives, um, in school learning. We also, when we develop, um, from like a very infant to like a child, we also are doing a lot of learning about our environment. Um, and so learning is just like a really big, crucial part of what it means to be a human. And I think that the internet is so big and gives us so much more ability to learn, um, which I thought was pretty cool. But learning in itself and the internet are both relevant, so extremely relevant, to our lives, like to our existence as human beings, because the internet, we are constantly engaged or connected to the internet in some form or another. Um, and uh, we are constantly on the internet when it comes to, entertainment purposes, to learning, to, education, to our jobs, to being connected and socializing, with others. It's a very prevalent aspect to our day-to-day lives, but also learning is as well. And I think that, every day you're capable of learning something new. You're capable of like learning so much because that's what our brains are very capable of doing. And I don't know, I think it's cool. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I like things that are really, uh don't really seem that cool, but I think are cool. So yes, This topic also is related to a wide variety of people, and can really benefit. This information can really benefit um, all people of all audiences, such as students, educators, teachers, your parents, your grandparents, your friends, your family, um, the people who create our laws regarding the internet, the people the people who have jobs that utilize the internet. I think though a lot of jobs are more going like in the trend to utilize the internet for the purposes of completing a job. And the internet has also also created so many different avenues that one can explore when it comes to learning as well. So um, I also, for like future episodes, I would love to investigate many different things. Currently, this is the list I've created thus far, but I plan on hopefully getting more information and coming up with more ideas. I feel like creativity is just an ongoing uh, aspect to learning, and also just being a human. I feel like humans are capable of so much. Regardless, the main topics. So, one of the things I wanted to investigate was how people acquire and retain the information via the internet. Because, and I plan on looking into like the differences between traditional and more modern ways of learning, um and when that's related to like the MMOCs, or sorry, MOOCs, massive online or massive open online courses. um and I think that that is a way that the internet has changed a lot of the educational. A lot. I don't know how to say sentences. That's how the internet has like influenced one avenue of learning when it comes to the realm of education. um, and also to how people acquire the information, whether or not they can, like, whether or not, you know, anything on the internet is could be true, it could be false. Like, you need to have critical thinking skills when it comes to looking and acquiring information on the internet. Um, and so I think that's another interesting thing I would like to look at. Also, for example, social media, and how social media is, on one hand, a very great place to share knowledge, but on the other, it's a great place to share misinformation and incorrect knowledge, or I guess incorrect information. Um, so that's another thing. In regards to retaining information, the internet, I feel like, has opened so many different opportunities on how to like retain one's information that they do learn through just all these different programs, like Quizlet, for example. I love Quizlet. You can see that I have it bookmarked. Uh, um, and how the internet has like caused like caused like a creation of ways that people can increase their learning and increase their ability to retain information. Um, and also, there's another thing I was going to say, and I'm kind of forgetting it right now. Um, oh, and there's an article that Dr. Gernsberger shared with us about the 5 principles of um, how the internet has like I can't say the word. How the internet has like online courses, and like the internet has been really helpful. I'm gonna actually find that right now. Um, that article name, because for just for future. Okay, yes, this article right here, the 5 fundamental principles of learning on which internet-based higher education capitalizes. That was the article I was referring to. Um, and I will get into that article um, hopefully in one of these episodes. I think right now I wanted to make an introduction episode. Um, I hope that's okay. I hope that doesn't go against the grading rubric because I am a perfectionist. But regardless, in one of the principles that Dr. Um, Gernsbacher shared with us is that um, the internet helps us like retain our information by deepening our memory. And what I I personally thought that one principle resonated the most with me was the deepening memory. Um, and so yes, I'm looking forward to that. Um, and that also kind of relates to another topic I want to go over, which is the teaching methods for the course. Um, or I guess not the course, but like learning in general and how the internet has like impacted teaching methods. And for example, COVID-19, I feel like had a really large impact on how we utilize the internet to learn, especially within the educational sphere. But also to um, the internet has like opened so much more accessibility to like learning how to do different things, which is another thing that I will also discuss. But we also have connected that, or I will connect that to one of the assignments here that I was supposed to do, which is uh, doing learning two skills. And I really enjoyed doing that because that was really fun. Uh, but yes, so teaching methods, like the internet has changed them so much. And you're able to, I guess, learn more things than and have more access to learning more new things. Also, to the creation of Khan Academy, for example, and things like that, I think have significantly impacted the way that people are taught and like the teaching methods when it comes to education, but also just like personal growth, I guess. And I was talking about this already before, but how the creation of online learning platforms and massive open online courses um, have changed the way that we learn, like because they are very much internet based. And so that's another thing that I'm kind of interested in looking into because I don't know. I really like learning. I think learning is really cool. I love learning. I love learning as much as I can, which you could maybe consider me a Infoholic. Um, but I will get into Infoholics later. Um, Another topic I thought would be interesting to talk about is the informal versus formal learning, because I was thinking of the formal aspects of learning like MOOCs and having asynchronous online classes such as this one. I thought that would I think that's like a one way of learning something, but also like there's so many ways to informally learn things, whether it be a YouTube video um, about how to create a hand puppet out of a paper bag, or how to do your laundry. I don't know. Um, like more informal things. Also, I really, really want to talk about TikTok. Sorry. I really want to talk about TikTok because TikTok is kind of frustrating sometimes, but also it can be useful. And I think though it's the line gets so blurred between formal and informal education, or sorry, formal and informal knowledge, and like who is a reputable source? How do you think critically about the information that you see on TikTok? Because TikTok is so widely used by so many people, and you have people from experts in their field to a high schooler who took a AP psychology class. And, you know, how do you analyze that information? How do you gauge like whether or not this is accurate information? Is it also too convoluted by like economic desire? For example, a professional within a field might share this information on TikTok, but they have an economic um, motive behind it where they'll say, "Oh, you have ADHD. If you want to learn how to treat your ADHD, you should buy my book," and things like that, which I think are not really good for, I guess, learning. Maybe it could be. I guess we'll have to discuss that later, but it's pretty interesting because I think I don't know. I think that that's how you get kind of biased information, or that's how you get you need more than just somebody who is trying to sell their book on TikTok. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know. I noticed stuff. I don't know. TikTok is a interesting place nonetheless. And another topic I would like to talk about is, oh, actually though, also on in addition to TikTok, like any social media form or platform, because like Facebook, for example, it's like it's a very common thing. I feel like people are like, "Oh, my grandma posts this article on Facebook and shares it with all these people," and it's like flagged as like incorrect, or I guess not incorrect, but like a misleading or misinformation like website. I don't know. I don't know. I don't use Facebook that much, if at all. But I digress. Um, I think that it'll be it'll be an interesting topic to cover, I believe. Um, and okay, I also wanted to cover how online educational resources and digital libraries are making knowledge more accessible, which I believe that is a very positive outcome to the internet being created, and how that can also change the way that we learn things. Um, and so, for example, I think that uh, having access to these digital libraries are we're able to obtain so much more information than we did before. We're able to find we don't have to go to the library and check out a book about something that we'd want to learn about, but instead we can go to a digital library and find like find an article about something that we need for a research project, or like a school project or assignment, or something that you just want to know about. Um, and to the creation of books, like audible books, like any online platform that you're able to like have something that you can use to physically like learn, and just sit in the comfort of your home and like flip through a Kindle with your favorite classic books. Have Audible to listen to your favorite books. um I don't know. I think it's pretty cool, and I think that has really impacted the way that we learn too. um and also, as I was saying, like online educational resources, I think aren't spoken about frequently when it comes to the realm of learning and the educational sphere. Um, and I think that it'll be a interesting thing to dive into. Um, so I'm really looking forward to that as well. Um, and also like the online educational resources, how how people can like obtain resources that can help them learn better and improve their learning and improve their comprehension, improve their um, retainment of information, similar to Quizlet, similar to Khan Academy. Um, yeah, I think those things are pretty cool. And let me continue. Um, so I talked about that, but also the next topic I thought would be really interesting to cover is the career development and job prospects aspect of like how learning impacts that, but also the internet and how the internet, like learning through the internet, can really kind of open more career opportunities for people, um, and be able to analyze like or find things that they are passionate about that they might not have known about if it wasn't for the internet, and how they might not have access to learning about those things, um, and perhaps changing their career path all because of the internet. And the internet is like really cool in that regard. For example, I am a psychology and sociology major, and for the longest time I guess I am still. I'm still very much obsessed with learning about psychology and sociology. I cannot stop talking about it, which is also a fatal flaw of mine because I'm not very good at small talk, and I tend to kind of talk about really big things about psychology to people who are probably just asking me how my day is, or oh, it's raining outside. Yeah, that's cool. Did you hear about this study that was done? I don't know. I'm not really the best at it, but that's something that I will continue to work on. Um, anyways, um, yes, I think that. Oh, I was talking about this. I was talking about okay. I was talking about career aspects. I was talking about my interests. Yes. So I am very much involved in that, but through the internet, I actually was able to find another passion of mine, which is computer coding. And I was super interested in, I don't know, video games have always been a really big part of my life. And I don't know, video games, like technology. When I was younger, me and my twin, we would play video games a lot. My dad had like 9 computers in his house. Um, and so that was a really big part of our childhood. Let me see if I actually have pictures. I think it's this one. No, I don't know. There's pictures somewhere, but besides the point, maybe I'll show them another time. But yeah, I really loved computers and technology and video games especially. So I found out like I kind of wanted. Well, I had this passion project and I wanted to learn like how to do it, but I never really had the time. But one of the assignments for this class was to learn something, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I can. I think this would be a great opportunity to learn like how to do it and like create my own like game. So that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed doing it and I love it so much. And maybe that could be a future career thing that I could do in the future. Depends because I really like psychology. So, and I really honestly, I don't know. I think it's really cool though. And I just think, okay, well, I won't even get into that. But yes, I think the internet can kind of create more opportunities to learn different things that like you weren't able to learn before, and can open so many different career aspects or kind of help you also develop more skills for a job that you're wanting to obtain in the future. And it can teach you like how to do these things that maybe you aren't that great at, or and could also make you more, I guess, competitive in the job market, um, and give you that edge when you're applying for jobs. Um, and also, too, I think the internet has very much so opened up people's opportunities to get jobs from all over the place, too, because you can find a job anywhere. But this is more so about learning, so I won't even get into that. But I think the internet can really help you learn things that are related to either the career you want to do in the future and help you develop the skills, but also it can help you maybe learn something that you might not have known before, and then maybe potentially create a career out of it in the future, which I think that is pretty cool. Um, so the final thing I wanted to talk about in this podcast um, is the term Infoholic. Because I was telling my dad about this project, and he is somebody who really inspires me, and I love him dearly. Even though uh, I also I don't know. I just aspire to be like him in the future. And also, I don't know. He's pretty cool. Um, but we were making this joke about infoholicism or like infoholics. And no one should ever joke about like alcoholism and anything that is um, just a very can impact people's lives like negatively. But I do think that like the term infoholic is like a light term that it's kind of like I don't know. I guess it's like a term that isn't necessarily thrown around or it is thrown around quite a lot. And in the sense that, many people nowadays are uh really wanting to obtain so much internet from the or sorry so much information from the internet, which is why I thought I would go over a quick definition of infoholics, because I thought that it would might be entertaining, but also kind of a way kind of related it is related to learning, I believe, because obtaining information I feel like is in one sense learning. And so according to collinsdictionary.com, infoholic is a person addicted to getting more information, a person addicted to getting more information, especially by the way of the internet. And this was uh, proposed in 2013 as a new word suggestion. It isn't an actual word in the dictionary, mind you, but I thought it's quite a common term that's used. And I think it's pretty interesting. Um, and I believe that like infoholics um are I feel like being an infoholic is not necessarily a bad thing, but it could possibly be if you're not obtaining information or learning information from the right sources. And you're also not um you're not considering like you're looking for information that's like to your bias. um in one of my favorite classes, research methods, taught by Dr. Greenberg, um we were learning about biases, and I don't know, I mean I love psychology, um but I I think a lot of people on the internet are might be infoholics in terms of like always wanting to find information that fits their agenda or fits their beliefs or perception about the world around them, um, which I think is a negative thing. But if you use the internet to learn things about the world that are well rounded, are appropriate, are inclusive, I think that that is being that in that case being an infoholic is a good thing, or can be a good thing. um and I really enjoyed this part of it, especially by way of the internet, because I think that infoholics, I feel like the internet is kind of like the way that they get that information mostly. um you could check out hundreds of books at a library, or you could simply Google your question and find many academic articles, online blog posts, I don't know, just so many different things that you can find. just on like some tiny piece of information, one tiny question. Um, so yeah, I guess infoholic infoholicism is a topic that I want to touch on in like one of the episodes, or maybe throughout episodes. I don't necessarily know. Um, but I think that would be pretty cool. And I guess that's going to be about it for my podcast or this episode, which is like the introductory one. But I hope that you are all looking forward to listening to me ramble and get off track, but also analyze and just dissect many different aspects to um, the internet and learning and how those go hand in hand together. In what's the term? Too long didn't read. TDLR. TDLR for this episode. Uh, we. My name is Katie Zimmerman. I am doing this project for my psychology 532, which is called the psychological effects of the internet. And this is a project where I'm deep diving into a question about how the internet is changing the way that we learn. And I'm going to touch on a variety of topics that relate to different aspects of our world around us, and what it means, I guess, to be a human. Um, and also, it is relevant to different areas in the population. And I'm going to be talking about social media. I'm going to talk about how people learn and how they retain information, and how the internet plays a role in that. How education in itself has been reformed by the internet. Um, how online or how massive open online courses increase accessibility and access to receiving high quality education, the difference between formal and informal learning, and what that means when you are, I guess, how it relates to critically assessing information that you see on the internet, and also how that goes into obtaining information and um, I guess utilizing it, and how open online resources, educational resources, and libraries, digital libraries, also increase accessibility and access to things that people have not had before, or wouldn't be able to have access to, and also how the internet can promote learning in the sense of a career, and possibly developing and furthering one's skills, but also create like having new skills that you form. And finally, throughout everything, we might touch on, maybe it's going to be one episode, maybe it's going to be like throughout a little bit, little sprinkles over there and here, about infoholicism, and how that also comes into play when it comes to learning and the internet. I hope that you all have a lovely rest of your day. And thanks for tuning in. And I'm looking forward to chatting more about the internet and learning and psychology next week. So thank you very much.